Hey everybody, welcome to Now It's Dark. I'm Jim. This Never Happened is a Tubi original, 2024. This just came out. It's 1 hour and 30 minutes. And um, it is a TVMA movie, which is okay. I think because it's a Tubi original, TVMA is the rating that would be equivalent to like an R at the theaters. Written and directed by Ted Campbell, and also sharing writing credits is Richard Pierce. This is a horror thriller. It is about a group of childhood friends with a dark secret spend a weekend together that turns deadly when one of them becomes possessed by a vengeful spirit intent on revenge. Starring Maria Jose de la Cruz as Emily, and she's fantastic and beautiful in this. Javier de las Zetas, Mateo, Olivia Connie Cambambia, and Mia Vanessa Burchia, and Nico Gonzala Zuleta. And, apologies for my pronunciations. This is a very predominant Hispanic cast, which is fine and great, except that I struggle with the pronunciations of the names. So this isn't necessarily like a super original idea. We have Mateo, whose family has this big house, and he's visiting the house after being, gone for a very long time, and then stuff happens. That's a plot that is not original necessarily. On the way to the house, Mateo and Emily stop at a little store, and Emily has an interaction with the shop owner, a woman, and we get a little insight that Emily may have some abilities that she's repressing or not accepting that she has. The woman immediately picks up on it that Emily can see things that not everyone else can. And yeah, that's true. So when we get Mateo and Emily at the house, you know, I'm moving very fast into this, but the movie's pacing is very good. And um, I will admit, too, also, Mateo and Emily, these two actors, had a very good rapport. They were very believable as a couple. And I appreciated that. A lot of times, some of these low budgeted movies try to force like this angstiness between a couple that just really is kind of a waste of part of the plot. This one was a little different where we could see that these two were really in love, and at least for face value, they looked like a very good couple. And so they are there at the house. The house is way bigger and more elaborate than Emily was led to believe by Mateo, which gives us a little background into Mateo's family being very wealthy and well-to-do. And this house is basically not even being lived in because they just have so much money. And yeah, so that's kind of an interesting take. We definitely get a lot of visuals of the pool, so mentally you kind of take into account that that's probably going to play into some point of the plot at at a later time in the movie, and it definitely does. And then, so the next day, um, we have we are introduced to Mateo's mother. She pops in, and um, she's all in black, and then she's got her people with her, and that's like this massive crowd of people all dressed in black. And I don't know if I missed it, but it was a funeral. Like everybody was gathering there because they were having like an after funeral get together. Like we don't actually see the funeral, so I was confused. But this was the party after the after party for a funeral, and it turned out Mateo's father had passed away. And I just don't know if there's just like a glitch in the writing or the story where that's easy to miss until it's like right in front of your face. But this is also when we meet Mia, Olivia, and Nico. Mateo's childhood friends who also spent a lot of time in the house because it was generally uninhabited and they would just go there to hang out, basically. It was like their clubhouse with a fully stocked bar. So they spent time there. And, so we have the funeral. The mother does like this real fun scene, really exposing her husband's infidelity, and she's not afraid to literally just spill the tea and spill the ashes. She dumps the ashes of her dead husband and says, "Yeah," and that's it. And then so like the party's over, and it's kind of a fun scene. Nico, Mia, and Olivia hang out with Emily and Mateo. A little bit of drinking's involved. This is where we kind of get to find out the personality traits of the three of them. Olivia's the bitchy, snobby girl. Mia's like the hippie, uh, spiritual girl, and Nico's just like the playboy and just like, arrogant, let's frat boy kind of a thing. So we get all those dynamics into the mix. And as they're about to leave, Emily's really trying to connect with them because they're Mateo's friends. So she says, "You know what, why don't you all just stay the night instead of driving after you've been drinking? And there's plenty of room. It's a big house. We can get to know each other better," and blah, blah, blah. So she talks them into staying. They're a little reluctant at first, and it's because they know there's a history there with Mateo as well. Mateo kind of looks like he's apprehensive, but then also does agree that it's probably a better idea than one of them driving while having just drank and potentially getting killed in an accident or something. This is when we also find out that Emily was taking medication. Um, it's not. This isn't exactly when we find out, but through the course of the story too, Emily had been taking medication, but she ran out of it. It seems to me that the medication was to suppress her abilities a little bit because when she was younger and she was tortured with these visions and nightmares and things. Um, her family didn't know anything other than to go to a normal doctor, and the normal doctor prescribes drugs. That's how that all works. And yeah, so we get a little bit more drinking. There's a lot of dream vision sequences with Emily throughout this movie, and then it turns into like a full-on kind of horror movie where we have some possession type stuff going on. We have uh, some flashback kind of stuff of what the history with these four um, went through and did, and why there's potentially somebody, something haunting them. And yeah, it's a really good story. It's well paced. I don't want to go too much more into it. Um, I really just noticed that I was saying Olivia, and Olivia was not one of the friends. Olivia was an old friend that came to the house. So I really botched that. Anyways, so if you go to watch this movie and you're wondering who's Olivia, because I saw this review where this guy kept saying one of the friends' name was Olivia. She was. She was. You'll find out who Olivia is by the end of the movie. Uh, Man, there are a lot of scenes in here that I liked. Mia, in particular, she's the spiritual girl. She had tarot cards and some stones that would have been used for like runes. If you're familiar with what that kind of stuff is, there's some really neat scenes with the runes where they fall into the pool, which again, like I said, is a reoccurring uh, thing throughout the movie. And I would have to say, of all the kills, hers was the most creative, and I really enjoyed it a lot. And I was glad that they do a thing at the, almost to the end where Mateo is like searching for everybody. They all realize they have to leave, and Mateo is looking for Mia and finds her in her unalived state. And you get to revisit how she was killed at that point. Um, Olivia, so um, her makeup was very good as well, very simple. Um, but again, all throughout the third act, we get like the flashbacks of the original core four and Olivia being kind of like the odd person out, and there's like some real wacky shit that these guys were into, which leads to Olivia not being alive and blah blah blah. Um, so Emily is the final girl, as we would expect, as she's our first female character and obviously the lead. And it's a real fun ending. It's kind of got a little bit of a wraparound where she ends her story at that same shop that she talked to the woman about her, uh, the woman realizing that she could see things that not everyone could see. And it's a real fun little scene. Um, and I wrote down that it was kind of very Nick Fury like. Um, and I guess you have to watch it to kind of get that. I can't really spoil it. I wrote it down thinking that it would be more relevant than it probably is, but yeah. So this never happened is kind of a not necessarily very original plot, but then it's got enough originality to it that I really did enjoy this, and it's again on Prime Video. So, oh no, I'm sorry, this was Tubi. So this is another good Tubi original. I'm so sorry. Yeah, like Low Life. It's not quite as good as Low Life was, but it's a very good, solid Tubi original for sure. So check it out. It's brand new. Let me know what you think in the comments down below.
Row 18, plot 20.